Hello and welcome to our today's 15 Minutes in the Cloud live stream. I'm Marco, your moderator for today, and we do have Karolina and Márton with me. So we are going to talk about data and data analytics for today. Why do we do it within the cloud? Just a little historical thing. We already tried that out when we live streamed that in Hungary, and it was that successful that our crowd asked us to do more of that. And so we do now. We are online now worldwide on Facebook and Instagram on our channels, just to let you know. And now we start with our introduction. So, Karolina and Márton, who are you and what do you do at Deutsche Telekom / Magenta?
Hi, Karolina Henzel. I'm Data Enablement Tribe Lead in Poland. I'm responsible for the data strategy. My role is to also derive insights from the data for the whole T-Mobile Poland company.
Hi everyone, my name is Márton Kelemen and I'm essentially fulfilling the same role as Karolina but for Hungarian Telecom. So I'm responsible for data and analytics, and you can consider this role as director of data.
Perfect. So now we know what's on your business card. As the data scientists, what do you do exactly? How would you describe your job? And maybe you can also describe it in 3 little sentences so that also children would understand what you mean.
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah.
Basically what we do, if you consider a telecommunication company, we have a huge amount of data assets in our hand. There are multiple systems that's continuously feeding data. Now what we are doing is we collect this data. Obviously we take into consideration GDPR and all the legal considerations, and we use this data to generate insight to the entire organization, which means all of the business units that are in a telecom company. And essentially that's our job.
Mine the same is because we work in we have similar scope of the responsibilities. So exactly as Márton said, we cooperate with the whole company, try to do the storytelling of the data that we have, because data, before we tell the story, using them are just unrelated information.
Mm-hmm. So how are you connected to the different departments of Deutsche Telekom, Magenta, to the world, maybe?
We cooperate with every department, like we prepare some storytelling reporting for HR. We develop use cases for the network commercial department. So I cannot find any single unit that we do not cooperate with.
Mm-hmm. And also just to a little bit broaden the scope, also we cooperate internationally. So we are sharing best practices with each other among the countries. We learn from each other. We know what use cases are working in what country. But what we don't do, we don't really share data with each other, because that's more like internally used in a country. It makes more sense internally.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, at the end, the GDPR itself also restricts us in kind of way?
Yes, obviously GDPR restricts us. It has a lot of restrictions, and what we are doing is basically we are really focusing on protecting our customers in the sense of GDPR, but also not just to the letter. We are actually going beyond and making sure that the customer and their private data is well protected in the company.
Mm-hmm. So do you have kind of a journey for our viewers? Where do we start with our data, and where is our responsibility ending, so to say? How to tell this story, so to say?
Like our journey toward data-driven have already started. We started with the building data governance foundations, because this is the crucial if we want to have data democratization in the company. So make business user be able to take insight by themselves, derive insights, derive value from the data without help of data engineers or data scientists. but our target picture is to introduce data literacy in the company. It means that these data skills should be the same relevant and knowledge of the PowerPoint or Excel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just to add to that, basically in Hungarian Telekom, we started this journey. We have a long history 22 years ago. That was when the first data warehouse came into production in Hungarian Telekom. Since then, obviously, there is a huge technological innovation and evolution. Now we have much better tools and technology. Also, we have much broader data sets. The whole pace of the data generation have accelerated tremendously, and the variety of the data is exploded as well. So right now, compared to what we have 20 years ago, it's a really different story. And now we are in the next, or actually in the third generation of this evolution, when we are doing AI and machine learning as well in the company on this huge amount of data sets.
And this is also what distinguishes us among other industry, because it's really difficult to find any other industry that deal with such a huge volumes of data. We have a cluster size of 8 petabytes, so it's really a challenge to deal and to process the data in an optimal way to take insights from such volumes of data.
Yeah, that's actually a good point what you are talking about, because even if I look at the Hungarian market only, we are truly dealing with big data, and not like other Hungarian companies. They are saying they are doing big data, but we are really, as you mentioned, we are in the petabyte range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when we now put the face on the customer side, we now have the huge amount of data. What do we deliver exactly to the customers so that they have a better feeling for that, or that we are able to protect them at the end? What exactly do we do then with all that data? Because I would guess it takes a lot of time to also interpret all the data amount.
Yes, that's very true what you are saying and asking. Basically, we can give you, and for this 50 minutes wouldn't be enough to give you the full explanation what we do, but just some hints there. What we use the data is, for example, to further optimize our network performance, to understand that we have weaker coverage, or when the consumer trend is changing and we need to invest in some place in the network, for example. We get to those insights through the usage of data. But also we are using data to for example, proactively predict faults in the network and try to do something about in a proactive way, and do the fault handling even before the customer would feel that something is not working properly in the network. And these are just very, very few examples, and we can list hundreds of examples what we are doing, how we want to make our customers' lives better through the usage of data.
Yeah, and what I can add to that is that's also telecommunication industry is well known from its product services, but we also offer some products, data products for external partners. For example, our mobility analytics, of course, this is the trends analysis. Based on it, there was the third line of subway in Warsaw was designed with the whole map of public transport to connect people with the subway. So these are also the big data use cases that we provide for our external partners.
I mean, at the end, we can also have simple examples from our daily life, I guess, also traffic jam things, isn't it?
Exactly. So due to our, let's say, not data, but the trends that we are analyzing, the public transport routes are designed, the decision about the investments are made, because, or even city authorities can better prepare for the increase of the tourist traffic, or even offer the services so as to better respond to the tourist needs.
And then this is something that we would feel on our everyday life, because if with the help of telecom data the public transportation is better, then essentially everybody using the public transportation will get a better experience.
And we have contribution into development of the smart city solutions. So this is something that we can be proud of.
Yes.
Definitely, and hopefully we are, and we show it outside. Yeah, definitely. Maybe we already talked about that example beforehand, before we streamed live. We also have some partnering up with with cities, or maybe the German harbor in Hamburg, where we predict traffic jams and so on. This is also all built up on data what normal people wouldn't recognize. Is that true? So that we do a lot of stuff that people do not recognize, but it's worthwhile for them, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean that's one of the beauty of data science, that with these smart algorithms we can find some connections in the data with these algorithms that with a human mind it would be close to impossible or really hard. And why we are using advanced analytics techniques and use the skills of the data science, we can utilize the hidden value within these data sets and find those connections which are not there for the naked human eye.
Yeah, and we can also, proactively, let's say, prepare for the increased traffic of people and strengthen our sites so as to give the great coverage for our customers. So we can provide the best network because we make decisions based on data and proactively to strengthen those sites. Yeah.
Can we also give our viewers kind of a feeling how much resources we need to just to read all the data and to do things out of that? Do we have how many computers or how many resources of computers do we need to deal with that?
Yeah, a lot. And as Karolina was mentioning, they are at the 8 petabytes range. We are a little bit lower on that one, but it's like you shouldn't imagine it like as a common commodity PC that sits somewhere. These are like huge and multiple hundreds of servers in server rooms that are actually processing this data amount. And the trick is not just by storing this amount of data, but the computation power necessary and the memory necessary to do the calculations and run those advanced analytics algorithms. We need huge amount of computational powers. We even use in certain cases GPUs and GPU clusters for some advanced analytic algorithms.
Yeah, and that's why we started our cloud journey. We started to develop our microservice cloud-based data platform to be able to process these kind of volumes and also to be prepared to scaling up. Yeah, and now we focus in Poland at least on private cloud, but also plan to have the hybrid cloud to do even more and more use cases. Yeah, to be prepared for the real-time use cases, event-based use cases. So that's our plan.
And just to give you a little bit of story, that when more than 5 years ago, when we started our big data journey, I was talking about the commodity PCs. We actually started with commodity PCs. At that time, it was a trial, and we put together this very first small cluster. And you can start on a small scale, which proves that it has value, but then you need a rapid and huge amount of investment to bring up those servers, what we now have, to actually cope with this volume of data and the computation required.
And also public cloud gives you much more possibilities because you have AutoML algorithms that you can use. You do have to develop from the scratch, yeah. And all this compute power that you mentioned, that you do not have to make any pre-investment just to calculate, do some use case.
Yes.
Maybe just having a look at the time. We're running out of these 50 minutes, so to say, but when you would have one wish free for both of you, what would that be according to that whole data thing?
I will go first. I think what the whole domain is missing is the skilled professionals. I think the world cannot have enough skilled data professionals. That's the single one thing that we need more all the time.
I would add that for me, what I would wish is having data literacy in the company, because we do not, as a data engineers, data scientists, we do not want to be a bottleneck, and we will be because the needs are growing for data. So that's why we need also business people to have this knowledge, to have this understanding of data, so as they could make this data-driven decision on a daily basis by their own without our support.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. 15 minutes are over, so thank you for taking part within our interview on our live stream. What's coming up next? You can hit up on Facebook, Instagram, maybe LinkedIn to our sites if you want to. And yeah, feel free also to tell us, how did you have the feeling for today? Was it deep enough for the 15 minutes, or do you want more of that? Or do you want other topics? Tell us and leave us a comment. Yeah, looking forward to have the next live stream. And yeah, Karolina and Márton, have a good one. We see us in a few, hopefully, days.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.